Welcome back to Sports Talk with Jordan. I'm joined by BSTT, or Ben, and Jacob, and we're going to be discussing whether Daniel Jones should be the Giants' QB. We're going to start off with the Giants and Ben.
Hey, that's me. So, personally, I think the only right answer is maybe. If the Giants in this year's draft, with one of our two top 10 picks, if we get an offensive lineman and we also get something like a receiver or a tight end for him to throw the ball to, I think he can be the answer. Because I think with protection, he'll be good. And with targets, he might be better. But I think if we go for defense in this top 10, or if we draft a kicker, he's not the answer because he needs help. I think he's not the best quarterback, but he doesn't have anyone to give the ball to besides Saquon, and he still doesn't give it to him that much. Kenny Golladay is overpaid, and Kadarius Toney is good, but he needs someone else. 2 players isn't enough to carry an offense. But yeah, so I think he is only the answer if we get him help. What about you, Jordan?
Well, I completely agree. I don't, just like you said, believe the Giants should be drafting a kicker because Graham Gano is an amazing kicker.
Yeah, he is.
But with that aside, I believe that Daniel Jones should be the quarterback this year. He might not be the best possible option the Giants can have, but I do believe they could build a great team around him. Look, they need a better O-line. They need better receivers. Kenny Golladay is extremely overpaid. I think he's making $72 million from his contract.
72? Why did we pay him so much? He's not even that good. And he was the year we signed him, he had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, plus he's extremely injury prone.
Yeah.
But I do believe that Daniel Jones should be the QB. He's a great running quarterback. If you've seen him run, you know he could throw under pressure. Sometimes he's not the best decision-making, but with new management and coaches, I do believe play will be better. Better O-line, as long as the draft goes well, I do believe Daniel Jones is the answer. Jacob, what's your opinion on Daniel Jones?
Honestly, I don't like Daniel Jones. I am a Jets fan, so you can say I have a slightly biased opinion, but hear me out. The Giants have done the absolute best to surround Daniel Jones with the most possible talent. And Dave Gettleman is taking key. He surrounded Daniel Jones with Kenny Golladay, Saquon Barkley, Evan Ingram, Darius Slayton, and other young talented players. And I don't think Jones is the answer in the future for this franchise.
Although you have the right to your opinion, I think it is wrong because none of those players were that good. Kenny Golladay has passed his prime. Evan Ingram has butterfingers. He can't catch anything. And although Daniel Jones does not have the best arm, it shouldn't matter. If you're a pro football player, you should be used to all this stuff. You should know how to catch bad passes. You should know how to do all this stuff. It's kind of like
Daniel, with slightly above average team talent, Daniel Jones.
He does not have above average team.
And the Giants,
With mediocre.
above average team. They're nowhere near there.
Yes.
I
think we should draft a new quarterback. Yeah, he hasn't. But I think we have to give him another chance. I think we give him another year.
Organization.
Yeah.
Dave Gettleman retired, or at least they said.
Yeah.
Everyone is gone. It's completely new management, new coaching. Let's see what they can do.
Yeah.
Let's say Daniel Jones does not have a good season. Maybe next year, at the beginning of 2023, we'll be making a similar video on why Daniel Jones is not the answer. But as of right now, as the time, 2:37 p.m., Sunday, February 27th, Daniel Jones is the answer for the Giants.
I think, though, what's it called?
Disagree, Jordan. If you're already rebuilding the entire team, why wouldn't you start fresh with a new QB?
I think you give him a year.
You need a base. That's
yeah.
why.
I think you give.
Out of sand.
Yeah. Barkley, the base isn't Daniel Jones.
Yeah. No, the base. Yeah, Jordan, that's wrong. The base is not Daniel Jones. The base is Saquon and James Bradbury. Although they both kind of want out, I think we give Daniel Jones one more year. I think we give him a year and draft some protection. If he does not look good, then we get rid of him. We trade him for maybe a second or third round pick or whatever his value is, and we draft a QB with our next year's first. Or we sign someone.
You guys have your opinion, I have mine, but I hope you enjoy another 5-12 Giants season with Daniel Jones playing at a mediocre level.
That's probably gonna happen, but I think we gotta. Yeah, I think we gotta stack up an offensive line because that's been our problem for years.
I think one less push of Daniel Jones is sufficient. If that fails, send him off. If that works, though, Daniel Jones could be the answer.
Yeah, because it's either he's gonna be good with us, or he's gonna be decent with us, or he's just gonna be a bust, which I already think he is. I think he was not worth drafting over Lamar Jackson, who I think is overrated and not good. But I don't think we should give up on him this soon, knowing what we drafted him at. I think if we drafted him later, like second, third round, we'd give up on him, or even late first. But to draft him top 10,
he was nowhere near top 10.
Yeah, I honestly thought he was gonna go like late third round, something like that. So that's why I was so shocked when we drafted him. And honestly, I don't like him as a quarterback at all. It's just I believe in giving everyone a fair opportunity in like the NFL, and it's kind of like you got to give him a chance. It's like imagine what's a team with a good O-line?
The Colts.
Yeah, imagine he went to like the Colts and he started.
Would be mediocre there too.
No, he wouldn't.
A football player.
Yes, he is.
If he had,
you can't be talking. Mr. Mike White's quarterback. But yeah, I think he's.
If everyone had the Colts O-line and the Buccaneers options, then every guy would be great. But that's simply not possible. You can't just make a blanket statement like, "Oh, Daniel Jones would be good on the Colts." Well, guess what? He'd be
better on a team with a good offensive line.
That's why the Giants are gonna build it in the draft with their 2 top 10 picks. They have to pick on anything other than O-line is wrong.
Besides from drafting a receiver or tight end, because if he also has...
O-line should go first.
If the Giants had the Colts O-line right now, they'd be 7-10 at best.
No, we wouldn't. We would not. We'd probably be 8 or 9. We'd have 8 or 9 wins, probably.
We'd definitely be 500 to over 500. Daniel Jones is up.
No, we'd be still an average. We'd be an average team. We'd be an average team. That's what we'd be. And I'll admit, we're not a good team, and I'll admit Daniel Jones is most of the problem. But I think halfway through the year, at least, if we get someone like a wide receiver or a tight end, or even a backup running back, and they're good, and he's still struggling, I think we just get rid of him halfway through the year, or even maybe 6 weeks into the season. I think we just got to give him a chance with a little better players. And I agree with your take that if everyone had the Bucs options or the Colts O-line, but still, it's kind of like also it matters about management. If your management is terrible, then you're most likely not going to be that good if you have no one to pass the ball to or no one to protect you. But if you have a great GM and they're smart and they go for the top offensive lineman rather than some guy for the defense.
To think that Daniel Jones and Brian Daboll would fit together because the offense that Daniel Jones has run under Joe Judge is completely different than the Bills' offense that was run.
That's why you can transfer.
Yeah, that's why we think he's going to be good because Joe Judge was terrible. Joe Judge was probably the worst coach I've ever seen.
No, the Giants have had.
Daniel Jones was such a terrible offensive plan, and now you expect him just to play good just because now you have a half-decent coach?
Yeah, I do, because coaches have probably the biggest influence on the players besides the players themselves. If the coach can influence him in a positive way, then he'll be probably better. It's common sense. Also, he has to change out his routine or something.
What did to Josh Allen is exactly what he can do to Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
They've been better. We could be completely wrong, though.
Josh Allen's nothing like Daniel Jones. Coming out of the draft, he was much better.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones?
No, Josh Allen was much better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Jones isn't as good as Josh Allen.
But you could see, though, they have Stephon Diggs, which is probably... I'm not saying without Diggs. Without Diggs, he'd still be a top 5 receiver, a top 5 quarterback. But I think he's the best quarterback in the league with Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, completely. It's all about who you're surrounded. Being the best QB is all about the weapons, too.
Yeah. But yeah, is Daniel Jones the answer? Our final answer is maybe. Depends on next year's situation. And that's all from Sports Talk with Jordan today. Please like, subscribe, and have a great day. If you're new to the channel, turn on that notifications bell also, because you'll get notified whenever we upload. Starting now, we're going to upload probably more collabs and stuff like that. And also, go subscribe to my channel, BSTT. That's all for today. Bye, and have a nice day.